Hi, good morning friends. Today we are going to be working on making an African flower hexagon. If you would like to crochet along with me today, go ahead and grab your yarn. You will need 4 different colors for this. It's going to be 5 rounds total, but round 2 and round 3 are going to use the same color. You'll also need a crochet hook, and you'll need either a smaller crochet hook or a tapestry needle. And you'll also need a pair of scissors. If you'd like to crochet along with me today, let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to start with yellow. I'm going to make a magic ring. You can always chain 4 and slip stitch into the first chain to make a circle that way. But with a African hexagon, I typically like the center to be closed very tightly. So for this pattern, I prefer the magic ring. To do so, I'm going to go ahead and wrap my yarn around my fingers, wrap it again a second time behind the first loop and hold it with my ring finger. I'm going to take my hook with the hook facing down and go under the first loop, over the second loop, and pull it through. Flip my hook so that it is upward. And then with the yarn that is still connected with the ball, I'm going to go ahead and yarn over, pull through, and that's my magic ring. Then I'm going to make 2 more chains to make a chain 3, and that chain 3 is considered a double crochet in this round. And all other rounds for the remainder of this project. I'm going to work a double crochet into the center of the magic ring or into your circle if you're doing a chain 4 and slip stitching, then make a chain 1. Work 2 more double crochets into the magic ring. So 1 and 2. And then another chain 1, and we're going to continue that around. So ultimately at the end we'll have 6 sets of 2 double crochets, again because our chain 3 is counted as a double crochet, with a chain 1 in between them. So 2 more double crochets into the center, 1 and 2, another chain 1, that's our 3rd set, 2 more double crochets into your magic ring, 1 and 2, another chain 1, continuing to repeat 2 double crochets into the magic ring, a chain 1, and then this should be our last set, 2 double crochets into the magic ring, another chain 1. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of 2 double crochets with a chain 1 in between. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close my magic ring. So I'm going to hold my project with my right hand while I pull that tail with my left, and I'm going to pull it really, really tight so that the center is closed. Okay. Then I'm going to find the top of my chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Slip stitch into the top of that chain 3, and that completes round 1. I'm going to go ahead and make a chain 1 so that I can cut and tie off my yellow. And then I'm going to pick another color for round 2, which I will also be using for round 3. If you have any color suggestions of what I should make my next round, I could do purple, pink, or blue. Let me know in the comments. Pull that through. Hey Roz, RVA is for Richmond, Virginia. Texas and now MD, do you have a YouTube? I do, and I'll actually be posting this live on my YouTube shortly. There's a link in my TikTok bio, or you can find me on YouTube at Crochet RVA. The reason that I suggest using a smaller hook or a tapestry needle is so that we can go ahead and take care of these ends as we're working. This project does have 4 different colors, which means there's 8 tails to weave in. So I find a little bit of maintenance as I'm working goes a long way in preventing having a bunch of ends to weave in at the end of your work. So I'm just going to take my tapestry needle. I'm going to take my hook, or you can use a tapestry needle, and I'm just going to weave this tail in through a few of the loops. And then I'm going to be crocheting over them as well in the next step. That's going to help secure them. Gio, you want to do pink? Okay, let me put my yellow back and we'll do pink for round 2 and round 3. Texas, thank you so much for the rose. Gio, thank you so much for the bear and the rose. Okay, yep, I got pink. This is my favorite color. This is Lovecraft's paint box yarn, and this pink is bubblegum pink, and it is probably my favorite color yarn that I've ever used. All right, I'm going to go ahead and tie on my pink. You can attach it anywhere you'd like as long as it's in one of the chain 1 spaces. I'm just going to go ahead and pick here where I left off weaving in that yellow, and I'm going to tie on the pink. And then same thing as I did before, just so I don't have a bunch of ends to weave in, I'm just going to grab my smaller hook and weave that through the back ends, and then we'll crochet over it to help additionally secure it. Roz, oh no, you can't get on my profile. I have lots of free patterns and tutorials on my page if you're able to get access. All of your likes and follows are much appreciated. All right, weave in this last little bit and we'll go ahead and jump into round 2. Okay, so again, we have our yarn tied on in one of the chain 1 spaces from the previous round. We're going to go ahead and immediately jump in with the chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then into that same space where you just tied on your yarn and made your chain 3, work a double crochet in that same space. Gio, it's definitely one of my favorite hacks. I hate weaving in my ends, and it makes it a little bit more bearable when I keep it tidy. All right, do a chain 1, and then into that same space where you made your chain 3 and your double crochet, you're going to work 2 more double crochets into that space. So for this first chain 1 space from the previous round, you'll have a chain 3, a double crochet, a chain 1, and 2 more double crochets. Right, you're going to skip 2 double crochets and work in that next chain 1 space, and we're going to work 2 double crochets, a chain 1, and 2 double crochets all within that same space. So let's go ahead and make our first 2 double crochets. Chain 1, and then 2 more double crochets. Again, this is a hexagon, so everything that we do is going to be done in sets of 6. So that is the second. And then you'll see in round 1, it was very circular. Obviously, we're doing a hexagon, so that will start to take shape a little bit more in this round. All right, working into our next chain 1 space, 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets, all within that same space. Roz, Texas, you guys found me on YouTube. Thank you so much for the subscription. I like the longer form content that I'm able to do on YouTube versus TikTok. TikTok gives me a 10-minute time limit, so I know that my tutorials on here, other than when I go live, can move a little quickly. And YouTube gives me the opportunity to film a little bit longer so I can slow down those tutorials a bit. Okay, find our next chain 1 space right here. So you're skipping 2 double crochets, working in that chain 1 space. Again, as we've done before, 2 double crochets, then a chain 1, and then 2 more double crochets all within that same space. Jess, you said the For You page is For You paging. You just started crocheting 3 days ago and you're already obsessed. Welcome to the world of crochet. It is definitely addicting. All right, skipping 2 double crochets, working in our chain 1 space. Again, working 2 double crochets, a chain 1, and then 2 more double crochets. African flower hexagons were actually one of the first patterns I ever made when I started crocheting. I don't know if it's exactly beginner friendly, but it was definitely, you know, jumping into the deep end and learning a lot of different stitches pretty early on. All right, skipping 2 double crochets, working in this last and final chain 1 space, 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 double crochets. Texas, thank you so much for the roses, 4 of them, thank you. Roz, you said crocheting in the round you haven't been able to accomplish yet. That's okay, it takes a little bit of practice. but that's how you get better. I'm trying to get into wearables, and even though I've been crocheting for a decade, I'm still having a little bit of issues with the wearables just because I haven't practiced enough. So with a little practice, I'm sure you'll be great. Text says yes, and now we can rewind. I'm slow. That is definitely the good thing about YouTube, is being able to stop and pause and rewind and being like, hang on, what did she say? All right, let's go ahead and find the top of our chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Slip stitch into the top of that chain 3, and that finishes round 2, but don't tie your yarn off yet. We're going to be using this same color for the next round as well. So basically what we've completed are these kind of V shapes here. And next we're going to be working on the top part of the petal, which is why I recommend keeping your yarn tied on and using the same color for round 2 and round 3. Roz, you said you've only been crocheting since September of last year, still learning how to read patterns. Yeah, that can be a little challenging, all the abbreviations, and it doesn't help that, you know, UK terms are different than US terms, so it is a lot to learn. Okay, we're going to be working into the chain 1 spaces of the previous round. So what that means, because we're starting here where we slip stitch into our chain 3, we want to start in this space here in that chain 1 space. So I'm just going to slip stitch over into that space so we can go ahead and start where we need to, make a chain 3, and then into that same space where we just slip stitched into, we're going to work 6 double crochets all within that same space. So again, it's going to kind of fan out like this, all 6 double crochets into that space. Let's go ahead and work them in. Texas, you said you're doing a great job, easy to follow. Thank you so much. I try to consider that maybe not everyone's been crocheting for a decade, or even if they have, maybe they haven't ever made one of these flowers before. So I do try to be thorough. All right, so we got our chain 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 more. So in this row, our chain 3 is counted as a double crochet. So we have a chain 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochets. Into the next chain 1 space, we're going to be working 7. So again, we only worked 6 here because we had our chain 3. In all other chain 1s, we're going to be working 7 double crochets. One other thing to consider, when I was new and when I was making these, I would always try to work into this space here. Make sure you're not working along the sides. Make sure that we're working round 3 into the corners or into that chain 1 space. So we're going to go ahead and jump over here, and we're going to work 7 double crochets into that space. Ray, you said, what is this granny square called? This is an African flower hexagon. I recently discovered there's also a way to make African flowers have 8 petals and make them into squares. Recently was sent that pattern by one of my friends on here, and so I'm excited to give that a test as well. And if that turns out well, then I'm sure I'll be on live making one of those as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 more double crochet into this space. And again, if you're just joining, I do have a video on my TikTok page on how to make this. And then I'll also be posting this live on my YouTube account if you would like to watch it back later. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, working into that next chain 1 space here. And now you can really see why I say use the same color, because these petals just blend in nicely when you're using just one color, working our 7 double crochets here. So appreciate this live and the pace in your crochet plus direction. Thanks so much. I'm glad you guys are finding it helpful. Moon, thank you so much for the rose. All right, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now this hexagon has 5 rounds total. We're already halfway through round 3, so this is working up very quickly. You can do all sorts of things with these. I guess the most common thing to make is a blanket. For a baby blanket, I'd estimate you need probably about 60 of these. more like 120 if you're making a throw. So just keep that in mind if you're wanting to make a blanket. All right, working into our next chain 1 space here. Again, you can also recognize the space you need to work into because it's kind of where we're starting to see those corners form, and we're working 7 double crochets into that space. Roz, you said you met a lady on a flight last week. She was crocheting a vintage miser's ring purse, and it was stunning. I've never heard of that. I'll have to look that up. I'm always looking for new things to crochet. I've made bags, but never a purse before. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more double crochet into that space. Again, jumping over to our next chain 1 space. Again, don't work into the spaces along the side, work into the spaces in the corner, and working 7 double crochets. You can't quite read the pattern yet? Oh no. Is it because of the abbreviations, or I guess the vintage patterns maybe are written a little bit differently than current patterns? Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 double crochets into that space. All right, and then jumping over here to our last corner, this is going to be the last petal that we're making. Again, 7 double crochets into this space here, and then we will be ready to switch colors again. All right, so we've already used yellow and we've already used pink. What are you guys thinking for the 4th round? You think purple, or you think this pretty blue teal color? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, everyone's saying blue. I agree. I think that's such a pretty color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go ahead and find the top of your chain 3, slip stitch into that space, and then I'll chain 1 so that I can cut my yarn and switch over to blue. Okay, again, using a tapestry needle or a smaller hook, I like to keep my ends tidy, so I'm just gonna go ahead and weave this tail into the back loop of the next few stitches. Again, if you have a tapestry needle, you can just kind of weave them in and out. I always have trouble weaving a tapestry needle, so I prefer just to use a hook, and I think it's quick. Again, because this pattern changes colors every 4 rounds, there are a lot of ends to weave in at the end. So doing a little bit of maintenance and a little bit of tidiness as you go will keep you from having a lot of ends to weave. And if you're doing a throw blanket and making like 120 of these, 120 times 8 different ends is a lot at the end of your project. Okay, we're gonna go ahead again. You guys said blue. I'll go ahead and use this pretty wash teal. And if anyone's wondering about this yarn, this is Paint Box yarn by Love Crafts. This is wash teal, bubblegum pink, dusty lilac, and I forget the yellow color. I think it might just be either yellow or maybe daffodil. I want to say maybe that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and tie on our blue. It doesn't matter which petal you tie onto, but make sure you are tying on the first stitch of each petal. So again, where we made 7 double crochets, do the use the top of the first double crochet to tie on your yarn, but it doesn't matter which petal you pick. Rosie said you'll have to keep trying to read the pattern. You want to make one for your granddaughter. That's so sweet. I love homemade gifts. Okay, again, using my smaller hook, I'm just going to go ahead and weave these in. And weaving the end through the back loop is not necessarily that secure on its own, but we will be crocheting over the ends to give it a little bit of extra security. Again, if you're making maybe a baby blanket or something that will be washed a lot, maybe you'd want to use a more traditional method, but I like to just do this method. Okay. Sherry, thank you so much. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start with a chain 1. Our chain 1 is gonna be considered a single crochet. and then we're going to work a single crochet in each of the double crochets on our petal. So for the first petal, that means 6 double crochets because our chain 1 is counting as a double crochet. All other petals will have 7. So let's go ahead and work our single crochets into the top of our double crochets from the previous round. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, I'm sorry, not a chain 3, chain 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Okay, so again, our chain 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for that first petal. All other petals are going to have 7 to work into. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go ahead and work a single crochet into the top of each double crochet. The fourth round is probably the most simple and the quickest round. Oh, you guys, you know what? I lied. Let's frog. Let's go back a little bit. I almost forgot one of the most important parts of round 3. So again, our chain 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so what we're doing now, so where we have yellow in this flower is where we're working teal in this one. And so we worked our chain 1 and 6 single crochets. Then we need to work a double crochet in between the petals. But as we're working that double crochet, we're not working a traditional double crochet, which gets worked into the top of a stitch. We're going to be working all the way down here into round 2. Can't believe I almost forgot that. Okay, so let's go ahead and work our double crochet again all the way down into this space. Make sure you do it nice and loose. If you do it too tight, your work is going to fold. So just make a nice loose double crochet all the way down into round 2. And then we're going to continue with our single crochets. Again, 7 single crochets into the top of each of our double crochets from the previous rounds. Walton, you said, girl, I tried your way of crocheting over your ends and it changed my crochet life. Yay! I'm glad you found it successful. I'm telling you, it's such a big time saver. And you can't necessarily use it for every project. Maybe something that has a lot of holes like a granny square, maybe it wouldn't be great. But something like this, absolutely. So we had woven in the tail and then crocheted over it so it's invisible, you can't see it, and it's secure. All right, working a double crochet, again, all the way into this space down here in between round 2. Again, do it nice and loose so that your work doesn't fold. And then continue to repeat a single crochet into the top of each double crochet along the next petal, 7 total. Hey Veronica, good morning. Sherry, this is really the most beautiful yarn. It's why I love Lovecraft's yarn. They have such pretty colors. And it's pretty affordable. I know a lot of people are looking for some alternatives to Big Twist now that Joann's is closing. And I'd say that Lovecraft's paint box yarn is a good alternative. All right, again, working our double crochet all the way down here into round 2. The only downside to paint box yarn is, at least where I live, I don't think they have it in any stores. I think it's a Lovecraft's exclusive. So you can't see the yarn in person and you do have to get it shipped. All right, working a single crochet into the top of each double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for each petal. Hey, good morning, Karen. Veronica, thank you so much. These are such pretty flowers. And I love every different color combination you can do. I got another one hidden over here. You really just can't go wrong. Jaden, you said, how long have I been crocheting? I've been crocheting on and off for about 13 years. I've been taking it pretty seriously for about the last 8. But it's really been just the last few years where I've really ventured out and tried a lot of new things. Okay, again, here we come to the end of our petals. So we're working our deep double crochet into round 2. Thank you for the live tutorial. These flowers are next on my list to make for your granddaughter. That's so sweet. I think it's very kind to make gifts for other people, and I'm sure that your granddaughter would love these. Okay, working our 7 single crochets into the top of each double crochet. Starting to get tongue-tied from talking so much. Veronica, you bought some of this? Yay! I'm glad that you are trying paint box yarn. I really do think the colors are beautiful. Which colors did you pick? All right. And then again, if anyone missed the first few rounds, I do have a video on my TikTok page. I know that my TikTok videos can move fast due to the time limit, so I will be putting this live on my YouTube channel, which is Crochet RVA, or I have a link in my bio. Again, working our double crochet into round 2. And then continuing with our single crochets, our last petal here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we are almost done. We just have one more round. And I always use a neutral color for my border. So when I'm making the flowers, I'll change up, you know, the order and the colors that I use for the flower, but I always use white. I think it really highlights the flower. And it looks nice when you're sewing them together to have a little bit of uniformity in that last round, but you can certainly do whatever color you'd like. And I've even seen some people who are making hexagons will add more than just one border row. They might add 2 or 3. So I'm just gonna make 1 row around the flower, but you could certainly do more if you'd like. Okay, working our last double crochet, again, all the way down here into the center of row 2. Then I'm just gonna slip stitch into our chain 1 that we started this with and tie off my bluish teal yarn. And then I'll be joining on white. Emily, you're right. These are so stinking cute. These are one of my favorite patterns for sure. And then everyone should know, if you're familiar with the magic rings, I won't do this on camera because it does take a little bit of while, but just make sure that you are weaving in the tail of your magic ring in really good as well. I will also use a hook for that, but you could use a tapestry needle, and I just insert my hook under a couple different strands, pull it through, and I do that all the way around the circle. Then I'll reverse and I will go back. And then if I have enough yarn left over, I'll actually make a third, just because you don't want to do all of this work and then have your pattern unravel from the center. So if you are using a magic ring, because there's no knots in that method, you do have to weave it in really, really well. And for the end of this blue, I'm just again going to use my smaller hook and just weave those in through the back loops. And then we'll crochet over them when we add on our white to make them nice and secure. Veronica, you bought pink, gray, white for a ripple baby blanket. That's going to be so cute. I love pink and gray together. Emily, yes, using the hook is a good idea. I hate weaving in ends and I hate threading a tapestry needle. So I just thought to do this a while back and it's worked. And I haven't had any issues with it coming undone. Again, we're going to crochet over those ends, so it is going to make it nice and secure. And let me go ahead and tie on my white. So it doesn't matter which petal you tie your white onto, just make sure that you're using the first stitch in any of the petals. So if you're looking at your petal, make sure you're putting in the first stitch, but which petal you tied onto doesn't matter. Hooked by Rosie, thank you so much for the rose. Emily, you said the same. I think that must be a universal crocheter thing. All right, and then one last time I tied on the white. So I'm just gonna weave this in through the back loops, crochet over it. Again, when you're doing 4 different color changes in one square, That means 8 different ends to weave in. And if you're making, say, 120 of these for a throw blanket, that's hundreds of ends to weave in. So a little bit of maintenance as you go will definitely save you a huge headache and a huge project. Although I did have someone on my live recently say that they like to weave in ends. They said that they think it's relaxing, but they might be the only person who thinks that. Roxella, thank you so much. All right, so where we tied on our white, again, into the first stitch of whichever petal you chose, we're going to make a chain 3. This chain 3 is going to be considered a double crochet. Bryn, we're making an African flower hexagon. Okay, into the next 2 stitches, we're going to work a double crochet. 1 into each of the next 2. Ray, thank you so much. Okay. Into the 4th double crochet of that petal. This is what's going to become our corners. So again, it's a hexagon, so we're going to have 6 corners around. We're going to work a double crochet into that stitch. But we're also going to make a chain 1 and then work another double crochet into that same space. And now we're going to work back down the petal. We're going to work a double crochet in the last 3, 1, 2, 3 stitches of that petal. Hooked on Rosie, hooked on Rosie. Thank you so much for the heart puffs. You guys are being so sweet this morning. Thanks to everyone who joined me, everyone who liked the live. Thank you all for gifting, and thank you all for the follows. Okay, you're also going to work a double crochet into the top of the deep double crochet that you made. I don't actually know what those double crochets are supposed to be called. Is there a special name for it when you make them extra long? I'm not sure. Okay. Working the next petal, we're going to work a double crochet in the first 3, 1, 2, and 3. And again, you can see where my white is in the back loops. So as we're making those double crochets, we're just securing them. And they should not come loose for you. But if you are concerned, then just weave your ends in a more traditional way. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Into the 4th, we're going to work a double crochet, chain 1, and then work another double crochet. And the reason that you want to make a chain 1 in between those 2 double crochets is because that's what's going to help us turn our work. So see, we had a double crochet, then we had our chain 1, and then our next double crochet helped us change direction. So where the first double crochet is completing this side, the chain 1 then helps us be able to start our next side. So we have our double crochet, our chain 1, and then as we work our second double crochet into that same space, we've changed direction and we're going to be working on this side. Working a double crochet in 1, 2, 3 stitches back down the petal. Emily, does your tutorial include joining them together? It doesn't, just because I only have a 10-minute time limit on TikTok to make a video, so that one does move a little bit quickly. But if you guys would like a tutorial on how to join these together, I can certainly make one for you guys and post it both on my TikTok and on my YouTube. Okay, again, into the top of our double crochet, we're just working a double crochet, and then we're repeating our petal. A double crochet in the first 3 stitches, and then into that 4th is where we're going to work our corner. Hooked on Rosie. I know, I love getting inspo from watching you guys as well, your lives and your posts. Right into this 4th stitch, again, our double crochet, our chain 1, so we're turning directions, and another double crochet into that same space. Walton, a tutorial on how to join them will be great. Okay, no problem. I think I've got enough at this point. I've probably got, I don't know, maybe about 30 made, so I can join a few of them together. I'll do that next weekend and have a video posted soon. All right, working 3 double crochets going back down the petal, and we are halfway done with this final and 5th round. You guys can see how it's turning in from this flower using the white as a neutral, I think really makes that flower pop. And then this round squares it in, or not squares it in, I guess hexagons it in really well. All right, working a double crochet into the top of a double crochet, and then continuing to repeat for our petals, a double crochet into those first 3 stitches. I'm going to be saying double crochet in my sleep tonight. I've said it so many times. And again, if anyone missed these first few rounds or you just wanted a refresher later, I will be downloading this live and uploading it onto my TikTok shortly. Right, working our double crochet into that 4th space, a chain 1 to turn our work, and another double crochet into that same space, and then working a double crochet 1, 2, 3 into the last 3 stitches of this petal. And again, if you're finding this tutorial helpful, please do consider double tapping to like this live. And if you don't already, make sure you give me a follow. I make a lot of free patterns and tutorials and inspo, both here on TikTok and on YouTube, which I'm just kind of getting into because I've had so many requests on videos that were a longer form content. Okay, again, repeating 1, 2, and 3 double crochets to start the next petal. 1, 2, and 3. Into the 4th, you guys know by now, working our double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. And then working a double crochet in the last 3 stitches going down our petal. Emily, you said, what kind of yarn are you using? This is Lovecraft's Paint Box yarn in Special Aran, or maybe Simply Aran. I forget which one it is. But I've got bubblegum pink, wash teal. I think that's either just yellow or daffodiled. And this purple is dusty lilac, and the white is paper white. I think it's still active if you use referral code crochet RVA, so 2 separate words, crochet space RVA. I think I still have an active referral code, and you make it 30% off if this yarn isn't already on sale at the moment. Okay, working a double crochet into the top of that double crochet. If for whatever reason that referral code doesn't work, they usually always have like a 15% for signing on for the first time if you've never purchased from Lovecrafts. Right, 1, 2, and 3 double crochets into the first 3 stitches. And you guys, this is our final petal. We are almost done. And if you guys are making this later and you have any questions, then just send me a message and I'd be happy to provide some clarification. All right, into that 4th stitch, working our final double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet into that same space. Our final 3 double crochets down the petal, 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then our last space, working a double crochet into the top of the deep double crochet from our previous round. Okay, to end, you're going to find the top of your chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Slip stitch into that space. Chain 1, so we can go ahead and snip our yarn. And then you are done. So I will make a tutorial on how to join them. But basically, at this point, we can go ahead and connect them. A couple different ways you can connect them, but you would basically attach them all like this. I will also do a tutorial. You can also make half hexagons, because obviously since these aren't square, if you're putting them together, they will kind of leave this zigzaggy figure, which can be neat. Or you can also make half hexagons, which will kind of fit there. So I've still got to work on a video for those. But these are such a pretty stitch. They're a great way to highlight some really pretty colors if you have some nice colorful yarn. And I look forward to seeing what you guys make. Make sure you tag me if you do use this, because I love to see you guys' color combination. Again, if you missed some of these rounds or you just want a refresher, give me a little bit of time to download this live, and I will have it uploaded onto my YouTube channel shortly. Again, that's Crochet RVA, or you can click the link in my bio. Thank you guys for watching. Again, thank you for the follows and the likes and the gifts, and I will see you guys later. Bye.